Good morning, good morning, good morning. I got started a little early today. Well, a little early, like 90 seconds early, just because it's our first time truly live on YouTube. And I thought I would work out any kinks that there are. And of course, because I started early, no kinks. So here we are at what I'm calling Marshmallow MBA South. Obviously, I am not in the kitchen. We are I'm working from outside DC if I am not in the kitchen this week. So, welcome to Marshmallow Monday Live. For those of you who are new, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. For those of you who have been here with us from the beginning, welcome back. So, Marshmallow Monday is my way of connecting to our customers and for folks who are interested in a small food business and what happens behind the kitchen doors, what happens behind the scenes in a small food startup business. This week, I'm going to indulge my inner business school nerd, which I only do occasionally. Our wholesale service mark is we're in the business of marshmallows, and that is the truth. Marshmallows are all we do, um, and we're happy to do it. It allows us to collaborate with some other amazing candy makers. And one of our hashtags is collaboration over competition, especially with small businesses. If you don't partner, um, you're just making it harder on yourselves. We don't have to be ugly to each other. So, today we're going to talk about the economics of candy. And I promise, as I said on some other social media posts, no, it's not boring. Business is interesting, economics are interesting. The simplest definition of economics. What is this? You define this. What is this worth to me? So, whether it's the economics of time, sometimes we call that the time value of money, um, whether it is the economics of food, whether it's the economics of a specific business, what is it worth to me? Uh, and there are people who this is all they talk about, this is all they study all day long. So, I'm not going to bore you with it, I promise. But I always find it interesting, especially around Halloween or right after Halloween when we're talking when people start talking about the economics of candy. And so I thought I would take a dip into that today because one of the things I try to do with Marshmallow MBA is remind my customers, my colleagues, and my coworkers that candy in itself is a business. It has great economic impact. Um, we have a responsibility to educate people about the economic impacts of our business, and specifically candy manufacturing for me is where I tend to focus and where the numbers blow me away when I look at this. So indulge me today, why don't you? Questions are always welcome in the chat, or if you're feeling particularly shy, you can email us info@marshmallowmba.com. We'll take a look and get back to you as soon as we can. The other thing we're going to talk about today is some of the upcoming deadlines for the holidays. If you're thinking about holiday gifts, we have them. So we'll talk about that towards the end. But let's talk about some candy economics. According, so I love Forbes magazine, not going to lie. I also follow the National Confectionery Association blog, and Retail Confectioners International obviously is always going to give us some good information too. So, my infamous legal pad. We know it's serious if the legal pad's out. So, let's talk about this. And I'm going to look at it candy in general. We'll look at a nationwide impact because you may not be in Pennsylvania. I'm not in Pennsylvania today. But that's where we manufacture. So I'm going to go macro to micro. You're welcome. So the macroeconomic impact. And when we look at that, we're talking about total sales across the US for candy in general, and then non-chocolate candy. So let's just take a peek. So in 2021, $37 billion of candy was sold in the US. That's billions with a B. 12.7 billion. Woodford, he didn't stop. So HR is joining us again today. I think they're almost done. Okay, so $37 billion total sales. So that's chocolate, gum, mints, marshmallows, caramels, everything. Non-chocolate sales, and that's where marshmallows fall. Shocking, even if they have some, so non-majority chocolate, but marshmallows. Non-chocolate candy sales, 12.7 billion, yes, with a B, $12.7 billion. That was up over 2021 by 14.5%. So that 2021 number up 14.5% over 2019. No one's really comparing back to 2020 because it was such an anomaly. And so we're looking 2021 over 2019. So non-chocolate sales were up 14.5%. There is an estimate that by 2026, we will be talking about $45 to $48 billion in sales, just US candy sales. So some other things that have happened in candy since 2019, and again, we're talking 2021 numbers because data lags. You can't analyze it until you have it. So this we're all going to talk about 2021 numbers. We're looking at 58,000 workers in the candy industry. Obviously, I don't have thousands of workers. I don't even have hundreds of workers, but we are adding 2 more to come on that front. So when we look at the candy industry, we also have to consider that there are more than just people who are actually making the candy that are involved in the industry. There are suppliers. And when we say suppliers, these suppliers can be raw materials, so gelatin, corn syrup, cornstarch, sugar. There's sugar in candy. It's sweet. But then think of the other suppliers: boxes, bags, all of our packaging supplies, all of our equipment suppliers. So for these 58,000 workers that are in the candy manufacturing specifically, there are almost 500,000 indirect jobs that are created. So for every candy job, for every candy manufacturing job, it supports 11 other jobs. So whether it's the farmers growing the corn, whether it's the factories that are processing the corn into its different products, whether it is the UPS driver who is hauling our stuff around the country, whether it's our retailers, every one confectionery manufacturing job supports 11 other jobs. It's just a reminder, there's no man is an island, John Donne, but it's just a reminder that I talked at the beginning about collaborating rather than competing. We're doing it whether we intend to or not, because we are there in connection, being good neighbors, being good community partners wherever we can be. We're not doing this like out of thin air and operating without any other partnerships or any other collaborations. But that 1 to 11 number, there's very few Um, very few businesses that have that amount of impact, especially when you consider that it's small, primarily small businesses. Sure, there's Hershey's, sure, there's Mars Wrigley, sure, there's Just Born, sure, there's Kraft, but the majority of candy makers are small businesses, and that's not limited to the U.S. That's across the country. So, jumping down into the sort of micro piece of this, there are just over 1,600 manufacturing facilities, candy manufacturing facilities across the US. And these are folks that are dedicated to confectionery. They're not bakeries, they are candy manufacturing facilities. So it's 1,613, according to the National Confectionery Association. In Pennsylvania, get ready. So in Pennsylvania, $5.9 billion in economic output from candy makers specifically. Hello, Hershey's, but also us. We pay just over $895 million in wages to employees and contract workers. We talked about the number of jobs, 58,000 jobs. And then I just look at this and, you don't, people don't think about, they think candy, but they don't think about what's going on in the background, and they don't think about economic impact. What do they think about? What do I think they think about? Because I'm generalizing here. Candy's expensive, and candy's getting more expensive. You may have noticed even at Halloween, the cost of candy going up. Maybe you saw that some of your candies are getting smaller. What used to be a fun size is now a snack size, and that's just not naming. Uh, the cost of things is going up. We all know about inflation. I'm not going to pound a dead horse there. But when we look at Halloween, even this past Halloween, and there is some data on that, um, the price of Halloween candy was up 13%. I can tell you Marshmallow MBA's prices did not go up 13%. They went up, but not to that extent. Um, it's the biggest recorded price increase since they started recording prices for candy. 13% is pretty significant. Just to make it simple, something that was $1 is now $1.13. I know, simple math, but sometimes it's all I've got. So, what are companies doing rather than raising the prices on things? Well, they're reducing the size of packaging on things. And a lot of times people will ask us, can you do a smaller package for me? Yes, we can. Yes, I'll price it out for you, is generally my response. But one thing that people need to understand is when we change the size of packaging or change the size of the pieces that we're doing, we lose labor efficiencies. Anybody who's watched the news knows that the cost of labor is increasing significantly, and that's for us too, where we're trying to come in line with fair pay. I will say, as a small business owner, I'm not sure pay is something that I have to be considered with myself. No, Elijah, I'm not doing 100 squats. I'm a candy maker. Not something I do. I think you're looking for something on TikTok for that. For efficiency of labor, we like to get into a groove where we are doing same processes or very similar processes repetitively. That gives us efficiency in time. If I am changing packaging, changing the size of product, we then have to create a new process essentially, because it's not the standard that we are used to. Also, just because packaging is smaller doesn't mean that it costs less. So, for example, if I go from an 8-ounce container to a 4-ounce container, the cost of that 4-ounce container is sometimes more than the cost of the 8-ounce container, even when I'm buying it in bulk. Also, I may have to change the size of the marshmallow going into that container, which may take longer cutting and curing time. Smaller pieces, this sounds completely in conflict, but smaller pieces of marshmallow actually take longer to cure because the way they are packed, we need to be concerned that they're not going to squash. And sometimes to pack containers, maybe our hands don't fit as easily inside them, so we have to use a different tool to package the containers. Um, we also have to look at um, the quantity of packaging. So for some things, I may be able to put 2 or 3 marshmallows in a bag, pop that into a box, and maybe 2 of those packages go into a box, close the box, poof, off we go. If I am cutting something smaller, if I have cut something, say we went from 6 1-inch cubes in a box, and now same weight is 24, what I call bag cut sizes, but 24 half-ounce or half-inch cuts of marshmallow. Each one of those is being bagged. I'm not putting multiples in a bag. So I'm actually using more packaging than I would be using for that half dozen, for example. So if I'm doing a honey jar, that's got 24 marshmallow pieces in it. That's 24 individual bags plus the jar plus labels, etc., etc. So when people ask the question about custom packaging and why does it cost more, that's why it costs more. Sometimes it's just the amount of time it that's involved. There's more time involved. There's more handling involved, and many times there's more packaging involved. One of the other things that we notice is in the cost of raw materials. You are seeing it at the grocery store for food businesses. We are seeing it in the cost of our ingredients. Sugar is up 22%. Corn syrup is up almost 20%. Those are our two biggest factors. Those are our two ingredients we use the most of, where we have seen the largest price increase. Um, we have not pushed that price increase out to retail customers fully. I can't expect customers to absorb all of those costs, whether you are wholesale or retail customers. We just can't expect you to absorb all of those costs, which means shrinking profits a little bit. Although I'm hoping to leverage some efficiencies and address that up front, or address that as we go forward. So just some numbers, just some economics there about the candy industry, and things that are happening. I nerd out sometimes, and I thought I would bring you along on my journey this time. So, Marshmallow MBA specific news. Quiet weekend this weekend, which is why I have my voice back. What is happening this week? This week, still lots of wholesale orders going out. We are involved again with the Buy Local Coalition of York and the Spruced Up Festival, which is sponsored by the York Revolution, which is our independent minor league team here in York. We will be sponsoring and decorating a tree on the concourse at the ballpark in downtown York. More information to come on that. If you're part of Buy Local and you're interested in helping me decorate the tree, that would be fantastic. I'm looking at November 30th between 3 and 4:30. You can get more information from Carmine on that, or I will talk to you on Wednesday night at the Mixer. Love to see you there. I believe the Mixer this week is at, oh Lord, my brain just forgot. It's something Hounds. And it's at the toll booth station there on Queen Street, right there, right by Leader Heights. I will post information on that because I just jumbled that up ridiculously. Otherwise, besides the Spruced Up event, Marshmallow MBA will be at Comic Store West MiniCon on December 17th. You can pick up pre-orders there. So if you want to pick up rather than having me send stuff, please place your order and in the notes tell us pick up at CSW and we will make arrangements for that and have your presents ready to go. All orders have to be in. This is the date you really want to remember. December 5th is our cutoff for orders because we are shutting down this year from the 21st of December until the 4th of January. Lots of changes coming here at year end that are going to require us to just be closed for a bit. But get your orders in by December 5th. Right now, that is my latest cutoff. Those of you who have been part of this journey know that we often sell out Thanksgiving weekend. It's also a possibility again this year. We will have items posted in the online shop at marshmallowmba.com. We will do a Small Business Saturday special as well as a Cyber Monday special. Please make note, those specials are only good on those 2 days. We do have products up online now. You're welcome to pre-order. We'll get you the best ship date that we can. We stop shipping for all of our wholesale customers on December 15th, unless you're making special arrangements. We have been told by UPS and FedEx to add at minimum 1 day to all of the shipping estimates. They are already at holiday shipping levels. They've really had no drop off. So December 15th is when I will begin shipping retail orders. If you're having things shipped, know that they will go the 15th to the 17th is the goal to get everything out at least a week ahead. I am recommending local pickup. Make arrangements for local pickup in Red Lion. We can make arrangements in Mechanicsburg or Harrisburg. I can also make arrangements for local pickup Falls Church, Virginia, as well as Atlantic City, New Jersey. So if you're interested in an order and not having it shipped, please reach out to me, info@marshmallowmba.com, so we can talk to you about how local pickups work and how you can get your stuff in the best condition for the holidays. We always ship. We just have some restrictions on timing to make sure that your products get there in the best condition possible, in the best time possible. So I went a little long today as I was going nerding. So thanks for sticking along for the ride. It is about 20 after 11. So since I don't see any new questions, I'm going to let you go. So thanks again. As always, Marshmallow Monday Lives, 11 o'clock on Mondays. If I can answer any questions, please put them in the comments. We'll take a look at those. If you need more information, info@marshmallowmba.com is the best email address. And marshmallowmba.com is our website. And we are Marshmallow MBA across all social media. Thanks so much. See you next week.